We got a new update for PlayStation 5 with some exclusive fixes and also a small patch on PC, so I want to tell you everything you need to know. We also know about some important fixes that are incoming for current issues, and there's bad news about the potential of DLC. So I thought to go over, of course, if you found the video helpful and like the content here on the channel, then leaving a like would really help me out. Subscribe to be up to date on everything Hogwarts Legacy, and let's go. When booting up the game after installing the PS5 patch, I immediately got some outpost notification that I had not seen in a really long time. This feature worked for me early on in my playthrough, but at one point it just stopped, so then I had to manually read the outpost in the menu in order to continue the main quest. Well, now it should just immediately pop up when you get these messages, and they should also be read by the characters who sent you these letters, which I really like. I talked about it before in a previous video, but it has now been deployed, a PS5 exclusive fix for the collector's edition trophy, where you need to complete the full page that you see right here. As you can see, I'm making quite some progress, but my trophy tracker before the update said that I only had 119 of the 603 collections in total, which is totally not true. Well, now after installing the patch, I'm at 435, which does seem legit. Also, if you already completed the full collections menu, then the trophy should immediately pop up after installing the patch. Now, people are still reporting an issue with the field guide pages in the bell tower wing area of Hogwarts. It's not updating and remains stuck at 33 of the 34. So hopefully they will fix that. A lot of save data issues were already fixed on Xbox and PC, but now also on the PlayStation side, like cleaning up autosaves properly when closing the game. They corrected a crash when a save system was writing data. They fixed an error of rewriting the lost autosave. So hopefully this also includes the issues that I showed you a couple of times before here on the channel, where I was loading a previous save and basically could not move. Still have these weird pop-ins though when loading my save when I'm in one of these small houses in the open world. So I hope to take a look at that. And I should have also fixed the issue where you could not talk to a vendor after restarting from a lost save, so that you could not continue the broom upgrade quest, for example, which of course really sucks, or change your appearance at Hogsmeade. This should now be resolved, although I am still seeing reports of people where this has not been fixed. So if you had this issue and still have it after the update, let me know in the comments down below. There was also a crash for people when trying to solve a flying cabinet during the Daedalian Keys side quest, of course. This should now be fixed. And they note improvements to the 30 FPS fidelity mode on PS5. I'm actually seeing people also saying that the balance mode, which you can select if your monitor supports it, has also been improved. So if you notice that, let me know in the comments down below. I personally only play on the performance mode. Now, a lot of these fixes for the PS5 version were already applied to Xbox and PC a few days ago, as the PlayStation patch was slightly delayed. So things like this, where the NPCs were flickering and had a transparent head while the hair was still present, should now be fixed. Or where crashes could occur during NPC events in the world. Also fixes for the cinematic, if you were skipping them or had crashes while playing them. I went more in depth on those things in my previous patch video. I will totally leave a link to that in the video description. And you can also find the patch notes in the video description. Now, before we touch on the bad news regarding the DLC, I want to share some important info and upcoming fixes that are planned. And one in particular has to do with the Take the Biscuit quest that Courage actually reached out about as well in the comments under my previous video. You started over here on a map in Hogsmeade. So during this quest, a goblin will ask for your help because his mooncalf biscuit was stolen by poachers and taken to a camp up north. So you have to go there, take out the poachers, and then open the cage. You will free a lot of mooncalf. One of them will be Biscuit, so then you have to rescue her and take her back to the goblin. Now, I was able to complete this mission just fine, but if you already opened this cage before starting the quest, then when you return to the cage, you get what Alves is having here, that you cannot open the cage, so also cannot complete this mission. There will be a fix for this in the next patch, so if you have this issue right now, it should be addressed soon. I will, of course, keep you posted here. If you have not engaged with this mission yet, don't open this cage before completing the mission. Or I would argue, just do the mission. It's only 5 minutes. So yeah, then you will not run into any issues. They're also aware of this problem, where if you load your game, you will be stuck under the map and of course unable to do anything, as we see in footage here from Chris. So if you have this issue, the community manager notes that you want to quit the game, and then instead of continuing, select load game and then load the oldest autosave. or you can also try to move under the map to a different location, where you may then be able to pull up the map and fast travel. This is also something that should be addressed in the future, and there are also reports of washed out color schemes that make the game kind of look weird, as you see right here, and there are some fuck issues that players are having, so you basically cannot see a thing. The developers are aware, and we should expect, hopefully, a fix soon. Something we should not expect, though, is DLC from the sounds of it. During IGN FanFest, the game director, Alan2, said that we've been really heads down bringing Hogwarts Legacy to life, so at the moment there are no current plans for DLC. So this quote was from an IGN article. They also had an interview, like a video interview with the game director, but I did not see him actually say that there, which I find interesting, so maybe they cut it out or something, or maybe I completely missed it, but I think I watched everything and I did not see it, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, seems like he said it, IGN reported on it, and that is of course kind of sad. I still think that it doesn't rule it out completely. They still have the PS4 and Xbox One version that are coming, and the Switch version, however that is going to work. Although there are a ton of writers and artists that I don't think are like heavily involved in those older gen versions. But still, plans for post-launch content are usually made well before launch. So if they're really not working on anything right now, then if they do decide to do it because of the great sales, then it will be a long time before we actually see something. Now, I would argue though that Warner was probably very well aware of the sales potential, and maybe they think it's smarter to let this team immediately focus on a completely new game instead of supporting this one. Hope that's not the case though, because I think there's a ton of potential for DLC, and it is worth noting that we had this pre-launch leak on January 16th, so well before launch, and looking back on it, things actually turned out to be true. Avada Kedavra can only be learned from a side quest after completing the main storyline at a very late stage. We can of course fly near over Hogwarts, but not inside Hogsmeade, and also that we can catch a phoenix, and it goes on. Of course, still take this with a grain of salt, but this leak also stated that the game was initially intended to include Quidditch and support all the 4 Quidditch positions, but that this was abandoned. Like, that would of course be amazing as a sort of DLC, a repeatable Quidditch activity, maybe even with leaderboards or online multiplayer, which of course kinda is maybe too wild to think about, but that would of course be amazing. And the leak also noted that the large map was cut by nearly a quarter, but that if the game sales were good, we should have new areas as DLC. I thought it was interesting to bring this up as well, but I still think we should not expect anything. Like, the game director is like keeping our expectations in check here, so maybe that will change in the future, but then it will be a nice surprise. I'm just not expecting anything from now on. Again, I agree, that is kind of sad, but I still think we will have many updates with hopefully quality of life features and New Game Plus, as that is something many single player games that don't have like DLC still get nowadays. So I can see that happen. But again, I would not hold your breath for like an expansion of some sort, at least anytime soon. Subscribe to be up to date on everything Hogwarts Legacy if you haven't already. I will keep you posted here, and of course got many tips and tricks coming your way as well, and already up on the channel, so check them out if you haven't already. A like would really help me out. And check out my previous video by clicking on the screen on an amazing playstyle you're probably not using, but that is really strong. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.